Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Pre-Market Info.
Got a rally on our hands here again, Joel. Nothing can keep this market down. 1551 back up near resistance.
Hey, we are approaching a major level here today as we begin our show. 1552.50 was our high on Monday. Tuesday, we only got up to 1551 and a quarter. And for you guys to do your homework, our close on Friday was at 1553.50. We are opening up into some major resistance here.
Yeah, and bounced off that. We had that weakness yesterday afternoon. Got down there near the previous day's low. Kind of put in a double bottom down there, though. What did we get down to? Like 1531, and the previous day I think was 1529, was it not?
Yeah, 31.75 was the low. 29.50 was Monday's
Yep.
low. So we snuck down there. But how about this intraday volatility just bouncing around on the news? And
Cypress
then,
headlines.
yep, yep. So keep your eye on, not only on your charts and on the pre-market info numbers, but keep your eye on the news too, because this is a news-driven
It's
market.
a headline driven market, really, and Cyprus is the headlines that matter right now, and you're going to see more and more stuff. We do have a Fed meeting today, too, obviously, so that'll be a driver here this afternoon when we hear what the Fed's thinking. But obviously,
Breaking news: they're not raising interest rates.
yeah, I
Breaking
know that's
news.
the whole thing. It always seems like a non-event. Like, I mean, what are they going to do? They're not going to raise interest rates here. So, really, most of their ammunition is shot already. But regardless, this market's looking good here again this morning, but it is up near resistance. Oh, look at that FedEx chart there, though, Joel. That one is not looking good here this morning. Stock missed earnings, $1.23 versus a buck 39 estimates, so they missed by about 16 cents. They cut full year guidance. They're seeing $6 to $6.20. Estimates were up at 634, so it's not good news for the FedEx bulls.
They did not deliver good earnings at all. You did get a pre-market low here as we speak at 102.56. So that's a little bit of a haircut here for FedEx. Let's go to the dailies and see if we can find some support in this stock. Let's take a look at these lows that we had here at the 102.33 level.
Interesting.
That was yeah. So we do have a little rhyme or reason for support here. You also had a low going back in early February to 102.44 level. The company is buying back 10 million shares, so you got to take note of that. But this looks like just a nice level to me. If we don't hold that, we got another buck drop to 101.45. But hey, if you came in short this thing looking for bad earnings, here's a 3.5 point drop for you. Coming back on the upside. Resistance is way up at yesterday's low at 106, and we just got to look at its brethren, UPS 2, digesting the bad news. That's trading down as well, not as much. 84.15
Down
is
about a
kind of,
buck.
yeah, down about a buck, so that's pretty parallel here. Not a lot between 82 and 84 here, but we'll see if the news
Yeah, usually you
affects you.
won't see the actual paired stock trade down as much as the leader. Obviously, FedEx is the leader. You get a little sympathy move, which is what we're seeing here in UPS. FedEx falls 3-4 bucks. Don't expect UPS to fall 3 or 4 bucks in sympathy. It just doesn't happen because they're not the company that obviously reported the bad earnings. But there is going to be a little sympathy move down. Probably going to open weak here, which is indicated by the pre-market trading. You know what I find interesting though here is this market being up 8, 9, 10 points. Cypress headlines. FedEx just announced an earnings miss and lowers guidance. I mean, they're your major company that ships everything here. Is that good for the overall economy? Is it good? From a fundamental perspective, that FedEx is cutting their outlook. I mean, it's shocking that the market can shrug off, it seems like, everything. You'd think a bad earnings report from FedEx and the market would be a bit more nervous here this morning, but it's not. It's just being driven by these Cypress headlines. It's kind of crazy.
Honey badger market, man. Honey
Is
badger.
right
Honey badger
now.
don't care.
Yeah, no, honey badger don't care. Don't seem like anyways. It's crazy. The market definitely showing a lot of strength here. Off Cyprus, but ignoring FedEx. So I guess you're right. Honey badger don't care if there's bad earnings from FedEx. We're going up anyways. General Electric, you got that chart on your screen. It's getting a lift here this morning. Dow Jones reporting that they may consider spinning off GE Capital. That's why GE is trading up here this morning, getting a 30-cent lift. The major resistance is up here in the 23.90 area. I know at 24 bucks, huge institutional selling pressure there. So the stock gets up into the 23.90s. It starts to find short-term resistance from the short-term participants, like your high-frequency traders.
Yeah, that's a pretty big move for GE in the pre-market.
400,000 shares too.
Yeah, I mean you can't really ignore it. 23.67, we're just ticking up here. That is a pretty big move. I guess you'll just have to go to that 23.90 level, Dennis. You did mention that 2 days ago, a few days ago. That hit the high. Wow, that would be up another 24 cents from here. I don't know. Do we feel a bet coming on here? Do we
I'm
23?
not saying it's going to go up there, so I have no feel for this one on a bet on this. But what I'm saying is if it gets up there, and this is what we try to do for you on the show, we're always trying to set up scenario analysis, give you guys setups. This thing gets up in the 23.90 area, there's resistance up there. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say it's going to 23.90, but I'm trying to say if it gets up there, if for whatever reason it gets another 23-cent rally, expect some short-term resistance unless it can take out that 24 handle, because there's a big bogey up there at 24. So that's what we try to do for you. We're trying to give you setups. We're trying to tell you where the stocks are going. We're trying to give you setups so that you can make more informed trading decisions here.
That's a nice looking chart there. If you go to the monthly there, right? That just a nice those.
It's
I mean, it
slow,
looks
steady
like
climb back since the financial crisis. Yeah, the financial crisis. Obviously, GE Capital was the big thing that probably caused GE to fall so far. You look at stocks like Honeywell, similar businesses, but it was the finance part, the GE Capital part, that really hurt General Electric during the financial crisis, and they're going to spin that off, possibly, Dow Jones reporting. So we don't know if that's going to materialize or not, but that is what the rumor is. You've also got earnings from Adobe last night there, Joel. Stock is getting a nice lift last night, getting a good lift here in the pre-market. They reported earnings 35 cents, guest estimates of 31. Revenue beat also 1.01 billion versus 986 million. So they beat on the top line, they beat on the bottom line, and the shareholders are happy.
Have you ever paid for an Adobe product?
No.
Okay.
That's why I've always, obviously a lot of people do. But I mean, they give you their reader, so you just download the reader, and that's what the majority of the world uses is Adobe Reader. So, obviously, there's somebody paying for the products though, because the stock keeps going up.
This is kind of an interesting pre-market chart here. You got a spike in the after hours, got it right there that time, Dennis, to 43.67, having a little bit of a pullback here. Kind of been hugging this 43 level dollar for a little bit of while. Spiked a little bit below it. I keep an eye on 43. If I'm playing this thing long off the open and it dips through 43, then your guess is as good as mine as where it's going to stop. Take a look at the daily here. We're blowing away these highs here at 41.93. Let's go out a little bit longer, see if we can find some resistance.
Good luck.
Can't find any. Well, we might have to go to the golden rule of technical analysis. Buy the bottom of the page and sell the top of the page. But,
That's a good rule to follow.
This is way far away. 45 bucks was a high you had back in September of 2008. But I'm safe. It's safe to say it might not see 45 today.
Your little pal Lenny, L. Lanier Corporation, reported earnings here this morning to 26 cents versus estimates of 15, so they beat nicely. Stock got a huge lift, huge pop, then it pulled back, was actually trading down. I'm like looking at it, I was like, man, this report looks pretty good, but the stock's trading down now. Now it's starting to lift back up. So I don't know where they're thinking. They're kind of all over the place with this one. It's only up 40 cents, and it was a pretty good beat.
Yeah, that's it looks like you got an accordion chart here in the pre-market.
Yeah.
Kind of a tough one to trade. 42.75 was the initial reaction. Took it back down to 41 and a quarter. So those are parameters that you could drive a truck through. What I like to do when there's just kind of crazy pre-market activity is look at the dailies. This is a sweet spot to me, Dennis. 42.30. Double top 2 of the last 3 sessions. You did blow through there in the pre-market. That's also supported by the high at 42.27 on February 1st. That's your first area of resistance. If you can bust through there, I think you can go up to the pre-market high. But that's a pretty big level there. Coming back on the downside, double bottom at 41. So you folks along there, there's your area of support you need to keep an eye on.
General Mills, symbol GIS, also reported earnings here this morning, and that stock is trading down actually. And here's one they beat too, 64 cents versus 57. Looked actually pretty good from the report, but they're knocking the stock down a little bit here this morning. It's trading down a dime. It did tick down to 46 bucks. Now it's just trading down a dime at 46.30. This is a low beta stock though, so I wouldn't expect much more than a 40-50 cent move in this one.
Right, 46 pre-market low, dipped back up, got a rebound to 46.30. I mean, I think General Mills, I mean, it's still, what was this Heinz deal announced? Like in here, in this
Yeah,
area,
they
you
all
know,
got
so.
all the food stocks have really still been marching since the Heinz. I mean, the last few weeks they've kind of slowed down, but they all had a pretty good march after the Heinz Berkshire bought Heinz there the month or so ago. So Campbell's, GIS, Conagra Foods, all of the food stocks have been marching. But they have kind of been quiet here the last couple of weeks, maybe just taking a breather.
46, just under 46, 45.93 was the low that you had a couple days ago. So pre-market confirms that low at 46. Then also you got a couple tops at 46.40 to 46.46. So pretty defined ranges here. I mean, that 46.50 level really backs things up here. I'm not sure if there's anything in the book at that level. That's going to be your resistance. TradeTheRange.com, 46 to 46 and a half.
Williams Sonoma reported earnings last night. They beat a buck 34 against estimates of a buck 29. They beat on the top line to 1.4 billion versus 1.40 billion. Their guidance a little bit lighter for the quarter, but they did announce a buyback to a 750 million buyback there. So Williams Sonoma up significantly after hours, up again here this morning. Actually, it blew through some major resistance, but now it's struggling at this at a few highs there, which Joel will probably point out in a second.
Yeah, they got way overdone here as we went up to 48.97 in the pre-market. Since
After
then,
hours.
pulled
Yeah.
back. Oh, I missed it that time. So minor support here at the $47 level. Let's take a look at the. Wow, man, another accordion chart here.
It really
I
is.
guess, yeah, boy. And then for a company that every time I go to the mall, there's absolutely no one in there, and they have like dishes for like $127, but. We won't pay attention to that. Instead, you did have resistance at 47.75 on February 15th and at 47.79 on the 14th. Trading right there, opening up into resistance. We'll see if you can get some follow through off that
That
level.
whole $48 level huge
Yeah,
too. If you
that's
go back
huge.
November, October, you just got resistance kind of all over the place here. Obviously, though, the one concern is that it did trade above it after hours last night. But I do see, it's going to open up. It looks like it in the 47.88 is where it's trading right now. So it could open up into that whole 48 resistance. Look at that opening print, and obviously, if it takes out that 48 off the hop and starts moving higher, then all bets are off. But if it opens up below 48 and starts to tank, that's your tell. That 48 is a big swing number for this stock. It's going to probably be early resistance. It's just a matter of whether it can take it out or not.
Not
Lots
a
of
lot of volume.
yeah, well, yeah, not that much, but lots of upgrades and downgrades here today. Major ones. Let's start with BlackBerry BBRY getting upgraded here at Morgan Stanley, and the stock is up significantly in the pre-market. 1590 is where it's trading right now, so it's up 85 cents, up 5.5% on the Morgan Stanley upgrade. Here's one of those stocks that's kind of, just been settling in here for a little bit, but now starting to break out. Above $16, this chart opens up as well.
Yeah, big move here for
Big
BlackBerry.
move.
Yeah, 16.15 is what you hit in the pre-market, kind of hugging the 15.90 level now. I mean, I guess Morgan Stanley's, pretty influential in this stock. Got to get this kind of move on 1.4 million shares, but you're opening up into some major resistance. You had a high right on the nose at 16. I would believe that was the day like they sold like 47 million phones or something, and they opened up higher and came back down.
A big
You also,
contract, yeah.
yeah, you're confirming highs here at 1607 and 1618. So I'd expect some rough sledding if this thing could get above $16.
Stock you wrote a blog on last night. Walgreens obviously had the big move yesterday. Peeled back. Well, there's analysts all over this thing this morning. You've got JP Morgan and Citigroup both upgrading the stock. Goldman Sachs removing it from their conviction list, though. So kind of analysts battling there a little bit, but it seems like Citigroup and JP Morgan are winning this morning because the stock is trading up another 60 cents. You were talking in your blog, which is posted up on the pre-market info site, about that 45.80 being resistance now because maybe you had some traders early on in yesterday's session chasing the rally. It did get back up there and kissed it just a few minutes ago in the pre-market up to
You're kidding me.
45.75, so it is looking like that
Wow.
area could provide a little bit of initial resistance.
Wow. Well, I have to say, of all the bets that we've made over the last couple weeks, you
I blew
just
you away on
cleaned
that
my.
one.
You blew me that on that one. I thought that stodgy stock was not going to open below 43. I know you
Uh,
were trying to bid that off the open. That just got people off guard. We got to the 45.80 level, hit there in the pre-market. Maybe I'll try it again. I mean, it's not a lot of volume, so I'm using that 45.80 as resistance that you came up to that level. Boy, that's another big move overnight for Walgreens. Taking a look at the weeklies, you're blowing away some resistance here, and then also I think in the monthlies here, you had a high back in '07 at 48.09, but got a little ways to go there.
Also, getting a downgrade actually is Deere here. Deere got a downgrade yesterday too, did it not? So it's getting back-to-back downgrades. Wells Fargo downgrading Deere today. Obviously, yesterday's sell-off was, I forget who downgraded. You remember who downgraded it yesterday? Try to go find the
No,
sheet.
I do not.
UBS
Yeah,
downgraded it yesterday.
thank you, Kevin.
Oh, thanks, Kevin. So UBS downgrading it yesterday. Wells Fargo joining the party here, downgrading Deere again today. Um, what's your take here? This $90 level where it
Ooh,
bounced yesterday is trading through there now, though.
yeah, that 90, that's going to be a good swing level. I have to look at it as resistance now. Looking at the pre-market, we did get a spike low down here a little bit ago to 89.61. Did pop back over the 90 level. I think 90 is going to be the level you got to keep an eye on today. I don't like, you don't like this. You don't like this kind of pattern. I mean, between 88 and 90, double bottom and 89.04.
There's
So
a gap.
playing the whole and half numbers here in Deer. And I was just looking. I mean, this stock, considering the market made an old, new high not too long ago. I mean, this thing topped out in February, took a haircut, and then for one of our members, I was taking a look at Cat too. And boy, I mean, that is just not a healthy looking chart at all. Look, is that an odd lot trading in Cat?
No, Cat's actually trading up here this morning. I actually didn't see what the headline was in Cat, if there is a headline, or if that's just trading up in sympathy, because interesting enough, Cat usually does somewhat follow Deere. Yesterday it worked to a T. Cat actually, I think, opened near the highs and just tanked after. Actually, I think Cat opened flat on the day with Deere trading down. Then Cat obviously just gave back a lot of and just started to actually. I think it was down at the end of the day more than the Deere was. Cat is getting a
Huh.
rally here this morning, though. I'm not sure if there is a headline. If anybody knows, they can just spell it out. I have not seen a headline in Cat here this morning, though, but it is trading up. Got a couple other ones here. We can talk about Zynga getting downgraded at Bank America. There's a stock that looks like it topped out about 4 or 5 sessions ago, where the rally really got overextended when it kissed over $4. Obviously, had a key reversal day that next day. A couple days of consolidation, now breaking down through the 350 level, trading at 340 here this morning on this Bank America downgrade.
Right. Yesterday, right at yesterday's low, which was 341. That is support. You have another minor support point at 331, and then a gap to fill down to the 320 level. This is a stock where you hit a nice whole number like $4, and some people definitely hit the exits on it. If you come back down to this 320, I'd look to that as pretty good support. And I'm surprised Bank of America is still covering this stock.
Look at CVX, Joel. You wanted to highlight this one. Just you were saying there's a potential triple top up here in this whole 120 area. Wow, it's starting to form some major resistance. Kind of like the ExxonMobil 90. That CVX 120 is looking pretty big.
Yeah, this was kind of whether or not it works in Walgreens today or not, but this is kind of formation where you bust above a whole number and you make a new all-time high at
A little
120.26.
fake out.
People say, "Hey, I'm not waiting to get to 126. I'm going to sell at 120." And then you get the high freaks leaning on it. You have three consecutive highs, between 119.81 and 119.92. So for you breakout traders here, don't fall in love with this thing if it does take out this 120 because you run another resistance point. And just talking about Exxon Mobil, 88 to 90 for over a month and a
It's
half
crazy.
here. Yeah, it
90,
did blow.
absolutely enormous on that thing.
Yeah.
Psychological, institutional, whatever you want to call it. $90 just continues to remain major resistance on ExxonMobil. Joel,
Okay, and
okay.
what else are we going to talk
Well,
about?
I just want to highlight AT&T too. You actually were pointing out that there is that potential double top there. Where were you looking on the chart where you were seeing a double top?
34 to 36 double
Okay.
top here, kind of a skippy double top, but this stock is just it sold off after trading almost up to 37, finding support at 36. You bust through this 36 level, and you got a little ride up maybe to test these multiple highs in the
You
36.80s.
know what is interesting though with the AT&T is bring up the chart of Verizon because Verizon continues to break out and make new highs, but AT&T is not following Verizon, and those stocks usually follow very closely with each other. So it's interesting that Verizon's relative strength has now taken off on AT&T. So I'm not sure what to make of that. Verizon actually trading up here again this morning, another 20 cents obviously with fair value. AT&T trading up a little bit here this morning as well, but Verizon looking a lot healthier than AT&T.
Yeah, reopening into resistance in Verizon 49.09 to 49.15. Well, we got up to that major resistance, Dennis, and now we're pulling back. So was that just a pop on the side? Oh, I did it again.
You always like that ES chart. That's your favorite
Ener-
stock, I think.
yep. Energy
Energy
Solutions.
Solutions.
So we got the pop in the pre-market to 52.75. In all that resistance again. Are we going to get a triple top here, or is this market going to bust through and make a new high for the move at 1558.75?
I mean, it's just, you got to just play the last few days. Like, actually, if you look from Monday's action and Tuesday's action, very close, very similar ranges, eerily similar, really, considering the news we had. And then we were showing strength and sold off in the afternoon yesterday. We've rallied again here overnight, so I mean, I guess you just continue to play that range. That's what's been working. It's been working to buy it in the low 1530s and middle 1530s. It's been working to sell it in the middle 1550s. So I guess you keep playing it that way until it doesn't work anymore. But there's a lot of news. Obviously, Cyprus headlines could drive this market. The Fed today. So there's a lot of headlines here that could probably override our technicals.
Okay. All right, folks. Thanks for listening in, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.